When Jalen Brunson was drafted 33rd in the 2018 NBA draft, no one could have imagined that he'd be anything more than a useful role player on his team. And that's exactly what he was for the Mavs, until it soon became clear that he was one of their best players. Though once he left Dallas and made his way to New York, it became clear that he's not a role player, but he's a star who could potentially become a superstar if he keeps up his performances. So let's talk about how Brunson may just have become the new face of the NBA. As we all know, Jalen Brunson's been one of the hottest topics of the NBA since last year, and his popularity keeps rising because of all he's been doing this season. Heck, he's been so good that as early as the 2023 season, JJ Redick called him the star of New York and even described him as spectacular. And during this season, Kendrick Perkins called him a star and a top 15 player in the league. Then there's Charles Barkley, who said he's happy to see the dude make it so far and so fast, while his buddy Kenny Smith talked about how amazing it was that everyone in MSG stayed back for Brunson's post-game interview just to chant MVP, since that never really happened before. Even Shaq chimed in and said that he loves the way Jalen plays and is happy for the athlete. Things are at an all-time high for the point guard, but given how his NBA career started, it's hard to believe how far he's come. After all, when Brunson started off his NBA career, he was just another guy on the Mavericks who barely played 20 minutes per game. But when he was given chances, he definitely tried his best to make the most of them. That said, his rookie and sophomore years in the NBA weren't anything too crazy, and it wasn't until his third year that we saw how useful he can be. While he only scored 12.6 points per game in 2021, his efficiency was fantastic, and he helped out Luka Doncic big time. But once the 2022 season started, it was clear that Jalen had the potential to be a future All-Star. He was regularly starting games for the Mavs and played 32 minutes per game, averaging 16.3 points and 5 dimes every contest. Dallas had one of their best runs in a while and even reached the Western Conference Finals thanks to Brunson's contributions, as he put up 21.6 points per contest across 18 playoff games. But unfortunately for Luka and the Mavs, he soon made his way to the Knicks. And ever since then, Jalen's looked like an absolute stud. I mean, this guy went from being an amazing role player with a lot of potential to being the guy on one of the most valuable teams in the NBA. New York has a ton of fans, and there's a lot of pressure on players who are leading the charge. But Brunson's shown no signs of letting the pressure get to him. He was a beast all season long in 2023, averaging 24 points per contest and 6.2 dimes while shooting nearly 50% from the field and 41.6% from downtown. He picked up right where he left off in the playoffs as he put up almost 28 points per contest across 11 games. But since the rest of the squad didn't clutch up, they couldn't make it to the Eastern Conference semis. Either way, the season was a massive success for him as he proved to everyone that he's the real deal and is ready for prime time. He had big games on a consistent basis, and unlike Julius Randle, he can carry New York to wins. Keeping all of this in mind, everyone was super excited about how he'd start off the 2024 season, and to everyone's surprise, it wasn't the best. He couldn't get going on offense, nor was his playmaking as good as it usually is, and across the first 5 games of the season, he went 16 for 44 from inside the paint, which was unlike him. Because of his struggles, the Knicks started the season off with a 2-4 record, leaving Knicks fans thinking he was a one-season wonder. Thankfully for him and the fans, though, that couldn't be further from the truth, as he soon bounced back and now he's one of the best point guards in the NBA. He has numerous 30 and 40 point games this year, and of course he had that huge 50-point performance in the win against the Suns and on the 15th of December. I mean, this dude was doing it all out there, as he had 6 boards, 9 assists, and a whopping 5 steals. Oh, and he also went 9 for 9 from beyond the arc and 17 from 23 from the field. Not only is that ridiculous, that's borderline unbelievable. I mean, that's the type of stuff you usually pull off in video games, not real life. but I guess Brunson's just built different. Despite his great performances though, the Knicks didn't have the best record 32 games into the season. But since January, Jalen and his squad have been unstoppable. Just look at what he pulled off in January as he averaged 29 points and 7.7 dimes while shooting 49.7% from the field and 37.6% from downtown. Thanks to his consistently amazing performances, New York had a record of 13-1 in January when he played, and to start February, he's been even better as he's averaging 34.3 points across 3 games. After all that he's done for the team, New York sits with a fantastic record of 33-18, which is good for 4th in the East, and if he can keep leading them to wins, then they might even become a 2nd seed. Now, I know that Brunson is suffering from an ankle injury, but thankfully, Knicks fans can breathe a massive sigh of relief because it's nothing major. He should be back and ready to go soon, and I'm positive he'll keep up the amazing play. Right now, he's one of the most loved players, not just by the Knicks fans, but by NBA fans generally, because it's impossible not to love his story. He came in as the 33rd pick, and even when things looked up for him in Dallas, the most he was doing was playing second fiddle to Luka. Then, as soon as he was given a chance to lead a franchise, he didn't waste any time before going out there and showing the NBA world that he's him. And now, after a 2nd season of dominance, he's been named an All-Star for the first time in his career, while also being a legit contender for the NBA MVP award. I mean, if he keeps doing what he does and the rest of the Knicks keep playing as well as they have been, I can easily see New York climbing up to the 2nd or 3rd seed, which would make a very strong case for Brunson being a deserving winner of the MVP award. There are still 31 games left in the season for New York as of now, and if those go well and they can enter the playoffs with a lot of momentum, then it'll be hard to see how anyone can stop them. As it is, they've been looking OP without 2 of their best players in Randall and OG Anunoby, so just imagine the havoc they'll wreak once they're at full strength and their chemistry improves even more. It's very likely for them to make it out of the East this year, and if they do, Brunson will definitely be the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. And if New York clutches up in the finals too, then Brunson will be a hero to all of New York, as he'll be known as the man who brought them a ring after all these years. It'll be the ultimate zero to hero story, and that's why everyone's rallying behind him, and it's also a big reason why he has the potential to become the new face of the NBA, especially as the years go on. That's a wrap. Make sure to subscribe for more NBA analysis videos. See you in the next one.